All right, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com, and Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. I said motions. All right, y'all. No Saints game, but Sunday was, as a fan, still a pretty disappointing day. First losing day of the year for Jimmy Ott's Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday. I've been telling you all they for the year are 30 games. Going into yesterday, we're 56 and 26. 30 games over 500. It's a bunch of handicappers that give their best bets for the week. First losing day of the year, so it took to week 8 before they finally had a losing week. So, but still. So, and the Pels lost in overtime to the Jazz. Brandon Ingram went out early with injury. Zion has a hip injury, so he was out for overtime as well. And then Herb and Trey Murphy fouled out in overtime. C.J. McCollum hit a baseline fadeaway, which looked like it would be the game winner. But Kelly Olynyk would prove to be the game winner with about 3 seconds left. So Pels fall for the first time this year, losing in overtime. And then the World Series is set. Astros sweep the Yankees. So I'm super thrilled for Alex Bregman going to the World Series for the 4th time in 6 years. We're going to get to see Bregman versus Nola in the World Series, which is phenomenal. A couple of former LSU teammates are going to face off in the World Series, which is really cool to say. So that's really cool. As a Yankee fan, obviously disappointed that another season ends in disappointment. It feels like that window's closing, but I don't think many of y'all actually care about that. And if there's one glimmer of hope, it's that the NFC South continues to be horrendous. I mean, Tampa and Atlanta both lost yesterday. Tampa scored 3 points against Carolina, lost 21-3. And Atlanta allowed Joey B to throw for 500 yards yesterday. So, improbable as it is, the Saints are just a game back in the South. Crazy. Crazy. All right, let's get to it. By the way, LSU new rankings are out. LSU is ranked 18th. Someone asked me yesterday where I thought they'd be ranked. I said middle teens. So, you know, kind of mean like 14, 15, 16. 18's a little lower than I thought they'd be. Like, for example, I think Utah is still ahead of them, which is a little surprising to me. I think they should be the highest ranked 2-loss team. Of the 2-loss teams, by far the harder strength of schedule and strength of record. But Utah's 5-2, and then LSU is the next highest ranked team, 2-loss team at 6-2 at 18. LSU oddly is 3 spots behind Ole Miss, that's in the AP and the coaches poll, which came out. LSU is number 20. And Ole Miss is number 12. So, Ole Miss dropped 8 spots in the AP and 5 spots in the coaches. I mean, you lose by 25 to an unranked team and you drop 5 spots in the poll. All right. Whatever. All right, let's say some good morning, see what y'all got. Hey, Dad, good morning. David Coslin, Jordan Smith, Brian Wynn, Jason Austin, good morning. Ryan, Amanda Guidry, Craig Duga, Boot Up Ball, Mama Mulkey, and Madman McMahon. Mama Mulkey and Madman McMahon are coming. Yeah, man, a week from Wednesday is tip. November the 9th for LSU basketball. Jeremy Sagely, good morning. Let's see. How about them Stros? Yeah, man. But I'm not surprised. Better team. The Yankees' opportunity was in game 2. They weren't going to win game 1 for a lot of reasons. We talked about the quick turnaround, facing Verlander, all that stuff. They struck out 17 times. It just wasn't a surprise. Game 2 was their opportunity. And to go through the first 2 games and lose 4-2 and then 3-2, and to let, especially game 2, you know, to let one swing beat you. And of course, it had to be Bregman. That's the one where it was over. Because even after you lost that game, even if you had rallied to win one of the next two, you knew you were going to have to face Verlander at least twice again if it came to it. So the thing that really bothers me more than anything, Jeremy, and I'm not saying that this is you in particular because I don't really know you. What really bothers me the most is, and I see that you say you're from New Braunfels, Texas, so I would believe that you're an Astros fan. But what really bothers me is like the people in Louisiana who all of a sudden have become these diehard Astro fans. That annoys me. Like fickle fans annoy me. I mean, whenever I was doing radio, when I first started in radio, early 2000s, 03, I worked at WIBR, and we carried the Astros games. And the amount of people that would be so ticked off when we would leave programming to air Astros games. I mean, people in this town, and that was the killer bees. That was Biggio, Bagwell, Berkman. You know, they went to the World Series in 05, lost to the White Sox. Those were some good teams. I mean, won the division like a decade straight, whatever it was. And people couldn't care less about the Astros. Could not have cared less about the Astros. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's an Astros fan. Got it. Let's see. Where are we? Kelly Presley, good morning. What's going on in Tampa? Jason, I'm going to tell you what, man. I haven't gotten much right on the NFL season. One thing I got right was Tampa's offense was going to stink. And I think it kind of felt like time in the jump, right? Because, you know, eventually Brady was going to fall off and that it wasn't going to work anymore. But I compared it to Brett Favre's 2010 season where, you know, 09, they were on the doorstep, went to overtime of the NFC Championship game, lost to the Saints. He came back for another year, and they went 6-10 that year. And, I mean, I think it's really obvious what's happened in Tampa. Like, you lost Ryan Jensen, your starting center in camp, to an ACL. Your two starting guards, Ali Marpet retired, and I'm blanking on his name. The left guard went to Cincinnati as a free agent. And then in camp, your guard that replaced him got injured, done for the year. So the whole interior of your line was remade. You got a 45-year-old quarterback who's going through a lot of personal stuff in his life as well. I know you got Mike Evans there, but Chris Godwin was coming off a torn ACL. No Antonio Brown. Gronk retired. People hyped up adding Julio Jones and Kyle Rudolph, but both of those guys were coming off the worst season of their career. They have good names. They're just old. They're just not what they were. And then you Bruce Arians is out and Todd Bowles is in. It's a new head coach, and as much as you want to talk about maintaining structure, look at the Saints. You know, if you have a good head coach and that person leaves, coaching matters, man, as you're seeing. So I'm not surprised at Tampa. That's one thing that I actually got right. I didn't get much right. I mean, I had the Packers winning the Super Bowl. So Packers have lost 3 straight for the first time under Matt LaFleur. I guess they could rally, but shoot, I mean, they don't look good. They lost, at home last week to the Jets. Lost yesterday to Washington. I mean, anyway, so I'm saying, like, I got a lot wrong for sure. One thing I got right: Tampa stinks. All right. Smash that like button if you would. Larry Garner, good morning. Derek Cropper, good morning. Keith H., what's good? Still in Rome. All right, Keith, enjoy that trip, man. Trivia Carter, Hunter Broadhead, good morning. I still believe in the Saints. See, here's the thing, Hunter. Like, here's what I'll say definitively about that. Because someone did ask me, hey, if you're the Saints, like, do you want to win the division, go to the playoffs at 8-9? I'm like, absolutely. I mean, of course I want to win the division and go to the playoffs. Like, I don't care what the record is. It's how the thing's structured. You win your division, you get an automatic berth in the playoffs, and you get a home game. So, yeah, I want that. I mean, we've seen crazy things happen in the playoffs, and the Saints have talent. You can get hot and play at the right time and give yourself a chance. Like, I'm for all that. I also wouldn't want an 8-9 record making the playoffs to mask the very real issues and deficiencies that this team has. I mean, but somebody who is really bad from this division is going to the playoffs. Tampa's bad. The Saints are bad. The Falcons are bad. The Panthers are bad. There's going to be a bad team in the playoffs that wins this division. That's how it's going to go. I hope it's us. I want to go. Reed Rule, good morning. I don't think it's a coincidence that since Kelly started carrying the play card versus Florida, that Daniels and company have turned the corner. I do, because, Reed, you're ignoring the fact that he carries that in his back pocket every single game. You just saw it on TV for the first time. Brad David, it's amazing. LSU's in first place in the West. Yeah, man. Joseph Feltwell, it is far from over in the NFC South. It's true. I hope we can get this turned around. I mean, the really tough part about it, as you all know, and we've talked about it for months now, is like this is the meat of your schedule. Now, you're playing the Raiders at home on Sunday, and that opened with the Raiders as a 2-point favorite in the Dome. But you play the Raiders, and then you play the Ravens. That's a Monday Night Football game. And then after Monday Night Football, short week at the Steelers, who aren't very good, but still a road game in Pittsburgh. You're home against the Rams, and then you're at the Niners, at the Bucks. Now, the Niners going cross-country, they're a contender. I don't feel good about that one. But going to Tampa feels certainly more winnable now than it did. You're home against the Falcons, which you can win that home game against Atlanta. At Cleveland, remember Deshaun will be back by then. Then you're at Philly, and then home against Carolina. So, I mean, I still... aside from Atlanta, Carolina, maybe the road game at Tampa. That's 3 games. I don't know that there's more than 4 wins left on the schedule, though, y'all. I mean, I think they're 6-11. I don't know that there's more than 4 wins on that schedule. Hope so. We'll see. Jesse Brown, Bordemat, shocked no one predicted the outcome in the LSU game. Wink, wink. With this team getting better each week, how will it impact the Alabama game with a week to prepare? Well, I mean, look, the Vegas line opened up at 16, right? So, I mean, it goes to show you that there's still a pretty wide disparity. Look, Bama struggled on the road. We got 2 weeks to talk about this, y'all, but Bama has struggled on the road the last 2 years. They lost this year at Tennessee. They were in trouble at Texas, and Arkansas moved the ball on them and was within a 2-point conversion. And then KJ Williams got hurt, and Milroe ran for 75 yards, and Gibbs ran for 75. Y'all saw it, but and then last year they lost at A&M. And Florida had a 2-point conversion at the end of the game to tie and missed it. And then Auburn had him beat as well. So Bama has struggled on the road the last 2 years. I mean, that's a fact. They've struggled on the road the last 2 years. So the night game, Tiger Stadium, LSU with an extra week to prepare, rest, get healthy. Should be a great environment. Yeah, man, I think you have the makings for what could be a really good game. As far as just the matchup on the field, Bama's playmaking ability on the outside worries me, like it did with Tennessee, because I don't think LSU's corners are good enough. So that's what worries me. I don't know that LSU's going to be able to stop Alabama from throwing the ball. Robert Grimmy on Morning Matt. I love the Astros, but I want Nola to get his. Yeah, man, that's going to be pretty cool either way. Like, Bregman gets another one or Nola wins one. And the funny thing is, all this year during Tigers and the Pros, we've just crapped on the Phillies because they've given Nola no run support. The fact that he had a Cy Young candidate type year statistically, but had a losing record is, I mean, it's absurd. It speaks to the total lack of run support he's gotten in Philadelphia. So we've all year we're like, trade him, you cowards. I mean, I wanted to play on a winning team, and here they are. They've made a postseason run. It goes to show you the value of just getting in, man. You get in the tournament, anything can happen. So here they are. Michael Castello, morning, Matt. Any chance the Saints move on from DA, go after Eric Bieniemy? I mean, they had their chance to hire him last year, Michael, so I doubt it. And I don't think they're going to fire Dennis Allen after one season. I mean, it would have to go really, really, really badly. Jason Babb in the NFC South is a dumpster fire. It is. Rapping Batches, what's up? Astros cheated again. Brad David, how did you know before the season that Tampa would be bad? I thought Tampa would be really good with Brady coming back. I mean, I just looked at all that ancillary stuff that I just kind of talked about. I thought they'd be bad. I mean, I didn't know. That was something I thought would happen. But again, like, there's a lot of predictions I made that are wrong. That's one that I got right. Shane O'Mac, Nicholas Cantrell, Wendell Norman, good morning. Sean Comiskey, Matt, I really appreciate you letting me post that brochure last week. We lost our little guy over the summer. This organization helps people who have lost small ones. You got it, man, for sure. Yeah, Sean was saying there's an event in Baton Rouge, I think the Friday, not this Friday, next Friday, or 2 Fridays maybe. And I looked up the organization. It helps families whose small children have died. So Sean, I mean, our condolences, man, to you and your family. But yeah, you know, we saw a lot of that in when we were in the hospital with Drew. Yeah, I always tell people, like, we're the lucky ones, man. Like, we got to take our kid home. You know, a lot don't. So, Connor O'Neill, I love the Russ segment, but I genuinely hope he keeps picking LSU to be bad. I don't know if you remember, he picked LSU to win the SEC in 2020. I don't remember that. I need to go dig that up. Matt, isn't Houston the closest MLB team to Baton Rouge? I'm not an Astros fan, but maybe that's why. I mean, Brad, yes, but at the same time, when do people in this town care about Texas or the state of Texas or things in Houston? People here crap on Houston traffic. They crap on the state of Texas, everything from it. I mean, it's more of a rivalry type thing that people feel here with the state of Texas. The fact that some, and I get why, don't get me wrong, Brad, like, I get why the proximity and all that stuff makes sense. It's like, but there's a lot of people in the Mississippi Gulf Coast that cheer for the Saints because it's close to the NFL team, which that's cool. And they've done a lot of outreach, you know, to try to develop, you know, deepen the fan base in those areas, which is fine. I'm just telling you that for the Astros have been around for 60 years now, and I've lived in this town almost my whole life. Ain't nobody in this town cared about the Astros. I mean, it's Cubs because of WGN, Braves because of Turner, and then you have, like, national brands, people that like the Yankees or the Red Sox, Dodgers, whatever. Ain't nobody here like the Astros until, you know, about 5 years ago. Brett DeGrow, just like the Louisiana fans that pull for Alabama, right? That annoys me so much. God. I just don't like front runners, bro. I know y'all are going to make Yankee jokes, but, I mean, Yankees have lost plenty in my lifetime. But, man, like, it's so much more rewarding when your team wins, when you've been through the grind, when you've been through the climb. Anyway, Ghastly Gamer. Weston Weaver, morning, Matt. Love the momentum LSU's riding into the bye. Is it realistic to beat Bama in 2 weeks? Is it realistic? Sure. Is it likely? No. Tim Gotro, good morning. Jesse Brown, Matt, I grew up a San Francisco Giants fan from Louisiana. My dad's family lived there, so I'd get to go to games. I understand the love for a team away from where one lives. That's fine. I mean, people have... The thing about baseball is baseball allegiances in Louisiana are different because there was no team here. It's like... The thing that always bothers me when we talk about the NFL, it's like, you have a team here. Like, the Saints are here. And the same reason that dudes who grew up in Bossier or Bunkie cheer for LSU. It's because they're our state's team. They represent our state. It's no different than like when you watch the Olympics, you cheer for in events you know nothing about. You cheer for the American because they're American. You're cheering for your country. Same thing with Louisiana. You cheer for your teams. I understand, but with baseball, there is no team here. So people choose allegiances differently. Like when I was a kid, I loved Ryan Sandberg. But when Ryan Sandberg left the Cubs, I didn't watch the Cubs anymore. I just thought Ryan Sandberg was so cool with the flip shades. My dad was a Yankee fan from the 50s and 60s with Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra and all those guys. And so, like, I mean, there's pictures of us as kids with Yankee pennants on the wall and Yankees hats and I mean, as little, infants and toddlers. So it's like, just grew up with it and just, I think baseball more than any other sport is something that's shared with fathers and sons. I mean, my dad and I went to the '01 World Series at Yankee Stadium, which is still one of my favorite memories in life. That was a month after 9/11, and they played the Diamondbacks, and we got to see games 4 and 5, and the Yankees homered back-to-back nights in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs off Byung-Young Kim. I mean, it's one of the greatest World Series ever. The Yankees lost in 7. That was Luis Gonzalez getting the hit off Rivera, but so I mean, I get with baseball, you build different allegiances. It's just weird. Like, it would be one thing to the point, Brad, like, if people here had always been Astros fans, it's one thing. There's just a lot of more Astros fans now than there were 5 years ago. Because you probably count them on one hand. I guess that's my point. Jordan Smith, if somehow we beat Bama, do you think we make it to the SEC title game? Yes, I do. If LSU beats Alabama, I think they will go to Arkansas and win. And I think they will go to A&M and win, and we'll go to the SEC championship game. I do. Kelly Gross, Brian Broom, Matthew Garner, Craig Straub, what's going on? Pels lost in OT, tough loss. Look, man, you're not going to go. Yes, it was. The bigger thing is they rallied it from down 17 with about 8 minutes to go. It was a hell of a rally. And that was without BI, who went out in the first half, and without Zion, who we learned later had a hip contusion or something like that. Got hip checked or something. But so we'll check on those guys' health. But, man, to rally the way they did was really encouraging. Craig Dugas, when we get Mulkey on AFR so we can talk fashion. Soon. Jonathan O'Neill, morning match, stream whiskey and wine after the game Saturday. My wife looked like she saw a ghost after hearing T-Bob drop all the F-bombs. She wasn't ready. Good stuff. Preston Landry, what's good? Craig, I grew up a Rangers fan. Nolan Ryan was my hero. See, people have different allegiances in baseball because of stuff like that. T-Bob went from amusing to overly medicated real fast. Preston Clark, morning Matt. The level of patience and timing you have with T-Bob is unmatched. LOL. All I get is anxiety listening to that nut after the Tigers win. Keep it up, LOL. Thank you. Michael Thacker, good morning, Scone. Saban has been dominant compared to Ed Ogeron in less than 2 weeks to prepare for this game. Can Brian Kelly be the guy who consistently matches Saban 2-week preparation? We'll see. I'd like to think so. Something we'll dig into here is how Brian Kelly has done coming off the open date during his time at Notre Dame. It's a little different there because here you know who your opponent is going to be every year after your open date. You're always going to have that open date the last weekend of October going into the Bama game. So it's a little different, but I do plan to dig into that. We got 2 weeks. Got 2 weeks to get ready. So I've definitely learned over the years you pace yourselves getting ready for the LSU Bama game. Darren Reeves, morning Matt. Super impressed with the way LSU has played the second half of ball games this season. Coaching, love it. Yep. Jeremy, Matt, do you plan on going to any LSU games this season? You're talking about football? I mean, the only one I might make is if they do make the SEC championship game or a bowl game. But games in Tiger Stadium, it's just not possible because of whiskey and wine. Chase Pellegrin, Jerry Fontenot, good morning. Reagan Lee, in fact, LSU is now on track to finish 9-3 with a chance to be 10-2 first year under Kelly with the massive turnover. So impressive. This team's going to win a natty under him. I would also say, y'all, I mean, I'm not trying to be like the Debbie Downer today, but so please don't think that. Still really hard to win on the road in the SEC. And after Bama, you turn right around after Bama and go to Arkansas. So that's a really tough spot to have to play Bama to get emotionally high and then have to go win or lose, then have to go on the road to play a tough Arkansas team. So, measured expectations still. I'm not saying don't be excited. You should be, but, measured a bit. As always, shout out to Brock, y'all. Got a few minutes left. Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, and Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com. You need an orthopedist? Go to Brock. Need a roof? Give us a shout at Hudco. It's pinned in the chat. And, of course, if you have any type of pain, go see my girl Crystal Poche over at Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com. Tyler Alexander, what are the chances Russ Mitchell goes you this weekend? Can't wait for that. No, he'll be there, man. He was texting me during the game. He's like, maybe I was a bit off. And then we were texting yesterday, and he tweeted 9. He tweeted yesterday, 9 is the new 4. That's so good. Hunter Eilers, good morning. Is Brian Kelly speaking to the media today? No Brian Kelly press conference. Thank you. Yeah, on the open date, the Monday press conference is to preview the game that week, so no open date press conference. No Brian Kelly radio show this week either. So all that resumes next week. Michael Arthur, a couple of those calls the refs made were weak. LSU absolutely destroys Ole Miss. Trey Potan, Deborah Coward, good morning. Let's see. Blake Betts, Matt, we're one extra point away from being 7-1 right now. Bama's look beatable this season. Yeah, man. Well, Blake, it is worth noting if you kick the extra point, you go to overtime, and I don't know that overtime goes LSU's way. They were playing well. I still will say I would have preferred them to go for 2 in that situation. But it's what it is. Good learning experience. Joby Thomasy, good morning. Craig Straub, Daniels, come back one more year. Watch out, SEC, natty contenders. I mean, I think that's fair. You would be certainly preseason considered a contender if you get Daniels back for another year. Drew's backpack speed, but I got about a minute. Stephen Foyle, grew up going to Astroworld, the old dome. Finally got to go to Minute Maid this year. I think most of the new fans are Bregman followers more than Astro fans. That's probably true. But if that's the case, then you don't get to smack talk me. Like, that's what I hate. It's like the children on Twitter that are smack talking. It's like, go away, child. Paul Ossie, what's up? Good morning, old boy. Good morning. Chance Babin, after a big win, I bet the coaches will be well received recruiting this week. Yeah, they're all going to get out on the road this week, recruit. Brian Penton, what's good? Jason Babin, Cliff Nelson, what's good? Coney Brude, Guy Brooks, what's up? Any more real quick? Gotta get going, gotta get going. Jason, I was with you hoping for a split of Auburn, Florida, Ole Miss, and State. I didn't say a split of Ole Miss and State, Jason. I thought they would beat State. I thought they would split October. I thought they would go 2-2 in October. So you had 4 games in October. You had Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Ole Miss. I thought they would split. Maybe win 1 on the road, 1 at home, lose 1 at home, lose 1 on the road. But they ended up going 3-1. So what I flipped is I had them beating Florida State and losing to Florida, and those flipped. They lost to Florida State, beat Florida, which I prefer. I'd rather you win the SEC game, of course. So, all right, y'all, I got to bounce. Got to get Drew up, get him ready, get him to school. I'm sick. Can E-Rock make me some soup? I'm sure she would, Trivia. She could get it to you in a timely manner. That's her nature. Very loving and maternal. Okay, I got to get going, y'all. Have an awesome day. Shout out to Brock, Hudco, Restored Motions. YouTube, please smash that like button. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Appreciate y'all for being there as always. Have a great day. I'll get LSU Daily recorded sometime around 10 a.m. this morning if you want to check it out. And AFR3. Okay, y'all. Have a great day. Peace.